What's up, my archfiends of chaos? It's your kid Rose Chaos Gaming, gamer, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now let's get into the Sephiroth's endgame plan and why I think it personally does not make sense. And we're talking about the remake and rebirth continuity. This is not the original because the original actually had things completely right, where Sephiroth killed Aerith and then threatened the world with a meteor, which the meteor would have destroyed the planet. It was just simple. You gotta stop Sephiroth from summoning meteor. It was no very convoluted stuff. Yes, he still wanted to become a god, but out of the destruction of the planet, and he ride the cosmos of the planet as his vessel, as he said in Having Children. But this Sephiroth doesn't make no sense at all. And I get, yes. This is, it's like, the thing is, there's a reason why I stopped reading comic books nowadays. And it has nothing to do with Wokify and early versions of the ethics and stuff like that. It's also the extreme amount of multiverses and world-ending events, such as what's going on with DC and Marvel right now. There's always a world-ending event. There's no simplicity anymore. And even with the complex villain like Sephiroth is, I still miss the simple thing. That we're stopping a madman super soldier with godlike powers from, shooting a meteor that is strong enough to destroy an entire world. And then we stop him. That was just it. And then somehow he comes back and having children. But even that one was a lot more simple to understand. And I've said this before. Multiverse should be something that should not be in media, because multiverse is so convoluted. I've said this before. The person who wrote Time Travel, couldn't understand his works. Could not understand what he written. It's so bad that even H.P. Lovecraft, that wrote the Cthulhu mythos, he understands his stuff, and that's just as crazy, or even crazier than time travel. But when someone writes something and creates the advent of it and not understand, that should tell you something. Media should probably not, copy. And I've said that before, and I'm still going to stand on that take. Whether you think it's a bad take or good take. Time traveling and multiverse should just not be a thing anymore. We need to cut back on that. We don't need a world cataclysm, a multiverse this, multiverse that. But the thing with Sephiroth's, motivation to do this, it's not clear motivation, but it also is the fact that, it doesn't make sense. To start off, here's the thing. Let's just say you kill all the gods, all the deities, even the creator god. What is there to put order in the new world? You finally got the new world to yourself. The world is empty. He wanted to have a white tendency world. Meaning nothing. A world of nothingness. The ones that, the world of complete nothingness. Nothing happening. Nothing moving. But something's got to hold that world together. And this is where I'm going to get very spiritual for people who don't, aren't spiritual. So I'm going to be talking into some, words that most people aren't going to get or understand. So be prepared for that. But, I personally believe, we're all mathematical equations. Everything runs on mathematical equations. Such as life itself. Life is a mathematical equation. The planet we're on, the plants, birds, trees, human beings, are all mathematical equations. And if you kill any what I think the outer gods are, or at least deities in general, they're just anointed spirits to hold the logic of the world. And if you do not immediately replace them with something or another system, the logic of the world won't exist, meaning it'll bring calamity and chaos. Nothing but calamity and chaos. You get rid of the deity of gravity, no gravity. We just float endlessly. You get rid of the deity that controls our oxygen. No oxygen to breathe, so you just could be asphyxiation over and over with no cease. So, if the thing about Sephiroth's plan, this is like some Thanos type stuff, but Thanos at least, made more sense to some degree, because Thanos just half the population, and that's it. Yeah, it caused causality, and they had to pull a multiverse out of the hat to fix everything Thanos did, and I'm afraid for Final Fantasy VII Remake continuity, after we defeat Sephiroth, we might have to go back and pull a multiverse theory just to undo the damage he has done. It would be that bad. The only thing I don't like about this is would this bring Aerith back that got killed in our timeline too? Because that would change things, especially if the fact that they're saying that somehow this is going to be getting into having children. Aerith is not an avid children unless it's spirit form. Aerith is obviously not in Dirge of Cerberus, because that game, that game relies only on Vincent Valentine and his narrative. But so it would make sense to keep Aerith alive in some way or in fashion. I've said that before, and I guess they're gonna have the future Aerith come again, like she did when he was fighting Sephiroth. Okay. Maybe it's going to turn to an end-game event where all the good characters fight Sephiroth, and Shinra and Avalanche finally team up. But the things that would have to stay, the things that will have to stay is Rufus has to still be alive. If Rufus would have to stay alive, Aerith would have to be dead, Zack would have to put into a different timeline or die, for that to happen. It's like I said, that's why I'm dumbfounded, because that's the thing. And even Aerith said, why would you want a world that with only you in it, with nothing else? That'd be completely boring. No people to subjugate. So it just doesn't factually make sense. And like I said, in the cosmos and stars, because of mathematical equations that make life, you get rid of that. If it's not replaced, then everything will be chaos over and over. And even if it did end, it'd be the end of everything. Nothingness will actually truly happen. Then you will have a world that you can't really necessarily rule. Because how would you be able to rule a world with nothing in it? If you got rid of the logic of the world. Now I understand Sephiroth's mindset. I don't think anything should control human will. I think human will is the strongest strength we have. And why we're doing so much to fight to keep it. Because it is important to have a freedom to choose what you want. But to choose what you want but not have order at the same time does not work. Order still has to exist. Logic has to be explained. And if it's not explained, or anything to hold any power forces or spiritual forces to uphold, the logic, it would just be, like I said, chaos without end. Even in a complete white world, you need things to hold up the logic of the world, such as the mathematical equations for gravity, for air, water, trees, animals, fish. You need those to still exist. And even though, yes, Sephiroth is a Genova fused, being, soldiers still gotta eat. You still gotta eat food. You get rid of the complete logic that creates that food, then you'll just die of starvation. The only way that this could actually happen for Sephiroth to truly be, the the god that he's trying to be, and free everyone from subjugation, Sephiroth would have to go after, I'd say, political power, such as man-made stuff like Shinra. Shinra, the banks, government, all together. That's the only way to really create a liberated world. But to get rid of all multiverses, all gods, then there's no logic to govern it. Then you ruin your ideal. If you want to set everybody free and save the world, or even save your own people, you get rid of the man-made forces that doesn't necessarily need to exist for us to exist. But once you get rid of the things holding the mathematical equations that we call life, then that's gonna, like I said, and not replace. It just doesn't make sense. I think if you would have did the Thanos route and just remove half the people on Earth, remove Shinra completely, remove Cloud and them because they'd be in opposition to Sephiroth, Cloud and Avalanche, and then just rule. That's it. No meteor would be needed too. He can recreate ancients because he blames humans for what happens to ancients. Uses new divine power to recreate ancients, and then he'd be a true god of the world that he's trying to become. Instead of trying to get rid of the logic of the world, because trying to wipe out multiverses and things that upheld the logic of the world and control every mathematical equation that creates life, it just wouldn't make sense, personally. If I had a goal like that, how I would go about it was just like I said, just get rid of the man-made political system altogether, enforce a rule, and probably cut back on the population like Thanos. Even though that is messed up. But I'm just saying, if I was a villain that was trying to do the same as Sephiroth, that's what I would do. I wouldn't mess with the logic of the world. And yes, there's too many multiverses to happen, but even multiverses have to happen because it's part of the logic of the universe. Time is logic, is a logic of the universe. Without time, that'd mess everything else. That's what keeps everything in order. It's like, when we get up, take a shower, and go to work. We go to work because then we clock in on the time, on the numbers that we see on our devices. That's when we clock in and go to work. Take your break, go back to work for a little bit longer, clock out, and then the rest of the day you do whatever you want. Point is, to get rid of timelines too, you have to get rid of time, and if it's not replaced, it would throw the whole universe out of whack. So you wouldn't be able to want to rule a world where, it's just pure chaos and nothing can be explained. You need the deities that create these mathematical equations, and these mathematical equations have to exist in order to keep the logic of the world afloat, and Sephiroth is doing too much. So may the crystal be with you. Tell me what you think in the comments, but I just don't, if you think it makes sense, let me know, but I personally don't think it makes sense for this to happen. Like I said, just do what Thanos did half and get rid of government power, and that's it. And that's all you need to do. May the crystal believe, like and subscribe, comment below.